So I've talked a lot on my channel about how I didn't really like Mulan when I was looking back on it as a young adult, and that it didn't speak to me as much as the other Disney princesses like The Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast. And I know Mulan never became a princess in the movie, but she's in the Disney princess lineup in her reflection outfit, so that's why I'm calling her that. Anyway, it took me a long time to realize that I actually do really like Mulan as a character and the movie, but what made me hate it so much in the past was the discourse surrounding it. Mainly the fact that there's this idea going around that Mulan didn't want to be feminine and that she actually wanted to be masculine and do boy stuff. And it's like, no, actually. I'm not here to say that you personally can't find Mulan empowering or see her as a girl boss, because there is a lot of commentary about women in society in the film. For example, in A Girl Worth Fighting For, there's a whole line where Mulan says, "How about a girl who's got a brain who always speaks her mind?" Nah. And this is of course ironic and funny to the audience, who know that Mulan is actually describing herself, or at least someone that she wants to be. After Mulan's identity as a woman is revealed, she asks Shang,
"You said you trust Ping. Why is Mulan any different?"
Mushu also says, "You're a girl now, remember?" When Mulan asks, why isn't anyone listening to her?
No one will listen.
Huh? Well, I'm sorry. Did you say something?
Mushu.
Hey, you're a girl again, remember?
Lastly, there's the societal expectations that women be silent in front of men and that they must become brides and fit into this feminine ideal. But Mulan doesn't hate on that. She doesn't disdain being feminine. Yeah, in honor to us all, she does seem more at home with the dudes and playing games than getting her makeup done, but she knows that this is also like her filial duty, and she respects that. Her duty as a daughter is one of her biggest motivations, if not the biggest motivation that she has. She wants to make her family proud and bring them honor.
Mulan, you dishonor me.
And she doesn't just want to make her family proud, she wants them to be proud of her. Of course, in the end, we see that her family has always been proud of her, no matter what she does or doesn't do, and that Mulan had it in her all this time, and that's fine because that was like the whole point of the movie. The thesis of the film isn't just that Mulan is as good as the guys and women are equal to men, it's that Mulan finally tried at something and succeeded. And through that, she realized her own self-worth. She realized that she didn't need to prove herself to her family, but rather that she needed to prove herself to herself. And this is perfectly illustrated in her mountaintop speech, where Mushu also admits that he went on this whole journey just to prove something to himself.
Maybe I didn't go for my father. Maybe what I really wanted was to prove I could do things right. So when I looked in the mirror, I'd see someone worthwhile.
This is also evident in her ballad Reflection, where she says that she doesn't know who that girl is that she sees staring back at her. But not because this girl is in a dress and makeup, but rather because the girl in the mirror is a disappointment. The girl in her reflection doesn't illustrate who Mulan wants to be internally. The story of Mulan isn't just an external journey, it's also an internal journey. And of course, that doesn't mean that you can't watch Reflection and interpret it a different way, but this is, I think, the way that it should be interpreted, or at least, is like the deeper meaning that's really there and that the movie is really trying to push, that I think gets lost in the shuffle of, pop feminism. Mulan in the beginning of the movie is clumsy. Yes, she's clever and also a kind and loving daughter, but all of that is worth nothing in her eyes because of her clumsiness that always seems to mess things up for her. And she messes things up because she's insecure. She doesn't know who she is. And in my opinion, it's not because she doesn't feel comfortable being feminine, but rather she's afraid to try and fail. I say this because she's not very tomboyish either. She doesn't really seem to be interested or invested in anything. Yeah, she's clever, but that's only, to set things up for later. But her personality is just, very bland. Basically, she's scared at trying things, and she's afraid of, failure. But one thing that she's not afraid to do is speak up for her father and protect her family. And thus, these two sides of her personality perfectly combine to move the movie forward. You know, she's afraid of speaking up, and she also has to be quiet as a woman, but she's also afraid to speak up just because she's insecure. And she also wants to protect her family. And this kind of gets her in trouble because she knows that she's going to be reprimanded for it when she speaks out in that public gathering scene in the beginning of the movie. But it's worth it to her because, you know, her family is everything to her. So, you know, those two things kind of mesh really well together. So when she stands up for her father and takes his place, it's not so much of a want, but a need. Like, if she doesn't take his place, in the universe of the movie, he would be presumably killed. She doesn't choose to join the army because she wants to defy gender norms. She does it as a duty to her father to protect him, and also, of course, subconsciously, to prove something to herself. She wants to prove herself as worthy, and on the first day, her clumsiness messes everything up and kind of ruins her reputation for a while. You know, she, again, is not really good at anything, but through joining the military and through the montage of I'll Make a Man Out of You, she begins to believe more in herself and become more secure about her abilities. When Shang tells her to go home, pack up, you're through, she realizes that she really needs to get her butt in gear. The stakes are higher than if she just fails the meeting with the matchmaker. Now her father's life is presumably on the line. She knows that it's now or never, so she puts her nose to the grindstone and does something that no other soldier has done before. Mulan grows more and more confident in herself to the point where she, goes rogue because she believes that her plan will work, and guess what? It does. However, afterwards her identity is revealed and the men leave her, albeit unwillingly. And she starts to reflect back on what she did this all for, and she realizes that she just didn't do it for her father, but that she did it to prove something to herself. To prove that maybe she'd look in the mirror one day and see someone worthwhile. She then sees that the Huns are still alive and that they're going to take over the imperial city. She tries to warn her fellow soldiers, but of course they won't listen to her because, girl. But after the enemies take the emperor hostage, she leads the troops to victory. And Mulan could have so easily fallen into girl doing guy stuff is cool because guy stuff territory, but it doesn't. Not only because Mulan doesn't show disdain for other girls and actually wants to be feminine, but also because the men kind of embrace being feminine. Though them dressed in drag is played for laughs, there's also some really awesome and intense music behind them as they climb the pillars with their shawls and save the emperor in drag with full makeup and dresses, and I think that's awesome. And Mulan even defeats Shan Yu with something feminine, a fan, again showing her cleverness. And note that Mulan using her fan against Shan Yu isn't to show that, feminine things are better than masculine things or the fan is mightier than the sword, but rather it's just quick thinking on her part. By the end of the movie, Mulan's father reassures her that he will love her no matter what, and that he will be proud of her no matter what. And Mulan realizes that she just went on this whole journey because she wanted to prove something to herself, again, that she, is worthy and is, someone worth fighting for, let's say. And not because she doesn't like dresses or makeup or matchmaking. She learns to be self-assured and secure in her identity, and she never does this by hating on other girls or hating the feminine or saying that, men's stuff is better and more empowering. She even gets with Shang in the end, and I'm pretty sure that they get married, at least in the sequel. All in all, Mulan is a great movie, and I do really enjoy it. But what I hate about it is how the iconography has been kind of taken out of the movie and used to promote like this girl boss type of feminism, because the movie is so much more than just female empowerment or just this kind of branded female empowerment. It's about learning to be more secure in yourself no matter who you are or what gender you are. It's not just a movie about a girl doing manly stuff being good because it's guy stuff, even though I guess you could make the argument that, She only learns to be more confident in herself through something that's stereotypically masculine. But something interesting is that she never really fits into the masculine ideal either. She remains clumsy and kind of a klutz throughout the film. Even after she climbs the pole and proves that she's the best soldier, she's still awkward in front of the guys and, doesn't really know how to act with them. And like Just Right said in their video, seeing Mulan not fit into the masculine ideal made him feel seen. And that's awesome. I do think that it's really cool how Mulan is kind of representative, or at least makes some people feel seen, people who are in the LGBTQ plus community, because, it's really important. Like, that's important. And I love, like, the cover and the poster of the movie and how it shows Mulan's duality, that she's a little bit feminine and a little bit masculine. So that's it for the video. I just felt like clarifying that I do like Mulan, and I just really dislike how, a lot of people, or let's just say the pop feminism machine, has kind of marketed this movie as just a movie about female empowerment, because it's so much more than that. And that her empowerment is also tied to her doing masculine stuff, because her empowerment just, doesn't just come from joining the military, but it's about self-actualization. It's more than just her wiping makeup off her face and cutting her hair. It's about an internal journey that I think we can all relate to and also kind of go through. The journey of wanting to accept yourself and love yourself and respect yourself and be proud of yourself, but not being able to do that because you think that you're not worthy and that you think that you need to go through all of these things when no, you've had it in you all along. I think everyone always has this need, to prove themselves, when in reality, you don't need to do that, I think the message in the movie about reassurance, that people will love you no matter what, that's really important, especially for kids. So yeah, that's what I like about Mulan. I mean, her mountaintop scene where she looks into the helmet and says, maybe I'd see someone worthwhile, and when talking about her reflection, I mean, that's so underrated. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this one, please give it a like, leave a comment, share it with someone, and of course, subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. My next video is going to be about Taylor Swift and girls in the friend zone, and a trip down memory lane of some of your favorite Nick and Disney Channel shows. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, Happy New Year, Happy 2021. By the time you're seeing this, it's already, I think, the second week of January. So welcome. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much to my patrons and my subscribers. Thank you so much. Bye.